came out here 2009. April 9th, 2010, I was shot 12 times. 8 times in my head, 4 times in my body. Tech 22.
Okay.
Worst gonna get hit because the bullet strapped me. 5 months after that, I was shot in my arm with a 9.
Okay. So what do you understand about God from that?
I'm here for a purpose.
You're here for a purpose. I agree with that.
And he punished us all less than what we actually deserve. You know why? Let's see what we actually deserve, Anthony. We gotta realize the mercy of the Lord. Read that for us.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
The wages of sin is death. We don't deserve to be shot and live. We don't deserve to be impoverished for a few years. We don't deserve to be put on slave ships and still live after we're sold. God says the wages of sin is what?
Is death.
It's death. But the Lord's mercy is great. So sometimes the Lord's mercy is, all right, I'm gonna let him get shot 15 times and live. Then I'm gonna allow him to hear the truth of God and see if he repents. What's going on? What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony. You got a question for us?
No, I want to tell you how I believe in God.
Okay, how you believe in God?
I'm from New York. I came out here 2009. April 9th, 2010, I was shot 12 times. 8 times in my head, 4 times in my body. Tech 22.
Okay.
Worst gonna get hit because the bullet strapped me. 5 months after that, I was shot in my arm with a 9.
Okay. So what do you understand about God from that?
I'm here for a purpose.
You're here for a purpose. I agree with that, Anthony. You are here for a purpose. All those things, because a lot of black people can have a story about they got stabbed, they got shot, and some reason they're still alive. Give me Deuteronomy 32, 39. You know I will, right? Let's find out. Why do these things happen to us? Because it's not just you. All of us as a black people are in the worst conditions ever. We live in a community where we can't even walk outside certain times at night. Because young men are oppressing our communities.
To this day, we live in modern day slavery.
You're right about
Back
that.
in the days, to own a slave, you had a chain and a whip. First thing a black person doing to get money,
Right.
chain and a whip.
You know what I want, right? I kill a nigga like 29 minutes. Go ahead. Watch this.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 39. See now that even I am he.
So, you've heard of the Bible before, right? You're familiar with the stories of the Bible. This is, okay, a little bit. This is Moses. He's speaking with the Lord. And the Lord is speaking to him. So this is what God says about himself that we have to understand. Read this.
See now that even I am he.
God says, I am he. Go ahead.
And there is no God with him.
Go ahead.
I kill.
I what?
I kill.
I what?
I kill.
This is contrary to what we learned in the Christian church. God says it's not saying that kills black people. It's not saying that allows people to be killed in the streets. God says, I kill. God, not us. God says, I kill. So, Anthony, why did this happen to us? Anthony, why did this happen to us? Jesus is God. Now, I ain't gonna lie. When I first heard this thing, bro, I needed to take a step back. I had to really meditate. What am I listening to? Why didn't I ever read these words before? Give me Isaiah 29:13 first. I'm gonna show you why. The Bible, Anthony, is a spiritual book. Sorry, Psalms 111 and 10. The Bible is a spiritual book.
I like reading the book of Revelation. It's like the truth.
Now, the whole Bible is the truth, but Revelations, it's a little things are going to be a little deeper for you to understand. So this is why God says this. If you want to understand the Bible, Anthony, I'm going to show you how to understand the Bible. Watch this.
Psalms chapter 111 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
You need wisdom to go through the book of Revelation. You need wisdom to go through the book of Daniel. Wisdom to go through the book of Ezekiel. Wisdom to go through the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So God says the beginning of wisdom is what?
The fear of the Lord.
You have to learn how to fear the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Watch this.
And good understanding.
A good understanding
A good understanding of this Bible, because you said you never heard this stuff before, right? So God says, if you want a good understanding of the Bible, what do you have to do?
Have all they that do his commandments.
You have to do God's commandments. The only way you understand these spiritual words are by doing his spiritual law. It's by doing the commandments of God. This is why our pastors don't understand this book. This is why our Christian pastors have never read these scriptures before. You understand? Because they don't teach you the laws of God. Let me ask you, Anthony, have you ever heard in the church that you're not supposed to smoke? Have you? Do you smoke? Let's see what the Bible says about that. Because you want to understand the Bible, right? The Bible says our bodies are the temple of God. Our bodies are holy. The Spirit of the Lord dwells in his people. That's why God said in Leviticus, I will dwell amongst my people. But the only way the Lord is going to dwell among us is if we separate ourselves from the things of this world. The things of this world is what got us in prison. The things that we do in this world is what get us shot down. Is what get us stabbed. Is what get us on drugs. Sitting on the corners. That's when you do those things of this world. But God says you have to be holy. You have to separate yourself. Watch this.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16.
Go ahead.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
Anthony, he's asking you a question. This is Paul. He said, do you not know, Anthony, that you're the temple of God? Do you know that? You didn't know it before. That's why he's saying it. Our people always forgot God's laws. That's why you have to remind them. Don't you know that you're the temple of God? Don't you know that? Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
The Spirit of God dwells in you. But you don't know that. So as long as we don't know, we stay in sin. We continue to get high. We continue to get drunk. We continue to not be sober. Fornicate. All those things, you're defiling God's temple. Read.
If any man defile the temple of God,
and if any man defiles God's temple, read.
him shall God destroy.
Why do you think we get shot? Why do you think we get stabbed? Why do you think we get locked up?
Us doing it to each other.
Exactly. Not us doing this to each other, we doing it to ourselves.
Right.
We harming ourselves. Because when you sin against the Lord, you sin against your own soul. If you hate your own flesh, you can't love anyone. So the Lord brings that same evil that you do to yourself upon you. Give me Colossians 3 in the last verse. This is what God says about evil. When you do evil, evil comes to you. Even if it's a small thing in your eyes, God says that man deserves death. It doesn't matter how small it is. But the Lord's mercy is great. So sometimes the Lord's mercy is, all right, I'm going to let him get shot 15 times and live. Then I'm going to allow him to hear the truth of God and see if he repents.
It's great. When I got shot, Temple was on strike. None of these doctors wanted to work on me. They had to call interns to work on me.
And yet you're alive today. That's the mercy of the Lord.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Went in right here, bounced around, came out right here.
Hey.
9. One on my leg, one on my stomach, and one on my back.
And yet we looking at you today. That's proof of God's mercy on his people. Right. Hold on, before you even read that, give me Ezra 9 and 13. I'm going to show you something. Because the things that happen to us, bro, it's only by the Lord's mercy that we hear. Because think about this. What we going through right now is nothing even compared to what our foreparents went through. Imagine in Haiti, you know what they did against the Haitians that rebelled against the land against the French? Napoleon brought out women that were pregnant, tied them to the ground, and had dogs eat their unborn children from their stomach. That's what Napoleon did. Y'all heard that history before? What's your name, bro? Kawan? What's your name, sis? So, right, you don't gotta be shy. What we talking about is the things that happen to our people for breaking God's laws. What we don't know is that we are the children of God. The things that happen to us in slavery, being oppressed in this country, being oppressed in every city we go to, is because we disobey God's laws. These things come upon us as a reason. Read that Ezra 9:13.
Book of Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 13.
Watch this.
And after all that has come upon us,
After everything that has come upon us, slavery, persecution, low education, poverty, after all those things that come upon us, Kawan and my sister, and my brother Anthony, go ahead.
for our evil deeds,
Go ahead.
and for our great trespass,
And for our great trespass, read.
seeing that thou, our God, has punished us less.
What?
Has punished us less.
What?
Has punished us less.
Anthony, God says what happened to you, he punished you less than what?
Than our iniquity deserved.
He punished you less than what your iniquity deserves. Imagine that. What you got and what all of us got as a community, God said he punished us all less than what we actually deserve. You know why? Give me Romans 9. What do we deserve? 6 and 8, sorry. You know I want, right? Let's see what we actually deserve, Anthony. We got to realize the mercy of the Lord. Read that for us.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
The wages of sin is death. We don't deserve to be shot and live. We don't deserve to be impoverished for a few years. We don't deserve to be put on slave ships and still live after we're sold. God says the wages of sin is what?
Is death.
It's death. We deserve death. But God's mercy is great upon us. God's mercy is the reason why we're still here today. Give me Psalms 123. God's mercy is why we're still here today. So God says don't take it for granted what we're going through. Don't take it for granted when you're hearing this truth. Read.
The book of Psalms 124 and 1.
Go ahead.
If it had not been the Lord who was out on our side,
God says, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, if it had not been the God of Israel that was on black and Hispanic side, read.
now may Israel say,
Now must we all say, we all must say that. Why? Read.
if it had not been the Lord who was on our side,
Go ahead.
when men rose up against us,
When men rose up against us in slavery, God says if it had not been the Lord who was on black people's side, what?
then they had swallowed us up quickly.
We would have all been swallowed up. We would have all been enslaved. We would have all been killed. Read.
When their wrath was kindled against us,
When their wrath was kindled against us. When their wrath was kindled against God's people, the Lord's mercy was on us.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is